Welcome back to Empower Yourself. Today we will learn about hold time study. Hold time studies establish the time limits for holding the material at different stages of production to ensure that the product does not produce results outside the acceptance criteria during the hold time. Hold time can be considered as the established time period for which the materials may be held under specified conditions and will remain within the defined specifications. Here, the word hold meaning is that to keep it aside or to stop using it or to wait. So, the word clearly says that to keep it aside or to hold it or to wait or to stop using the thing. So, when it comes to pharmaceutical production or pharmaceutical manufacturing, this comes in a case where one stage is being held during the manufacturing of different stages of the production. So, there could be so many circumstances that would come into force during the manufacturing of the product. But during that case, we have to justify how much time and how much uh, at what type of conditions can we hold our material without using it for further production of the product. For example, when I'm manufacturing a product Z, my manufacturing stages, intermediate stages would be X and Y. So, whenever I'm manufacturing X product, but due to some of the circumstances, I want to hold my X product to take further stage Y. So, at the time, how much time can I hold the product X for taking it into the manufacturing of the product stage Y? So, this time, the time gap between usage of my X stage into the Y stage would be called as hold time study. So, during this period of hold time study, the material, the X material has to be stored in a specified conditions and it has to be within the acceptance criteria, and we have to ensure that it is producing the results within the acceptance criteria during the hold time. So this is what the hold time study meaning is. So hold time study shall be conducted to demonstrate the bulk products and intermediates. So what is the reason to conduct the hold time study, and why it is necessary to conduct the hold time study? Let us see them. It helps in retain the appropriate quality before processing to the next stage, meet the acceptance criteria and release specification for the finished product. So hold time study shall be conducted to check whether the quality of the product is being maintained before processing into the next step, and that is meeting the acceptance criteria as well as the release specifications of the finished products as well. Hold time should normally be determined prior to marketing of the product. So the hold time study, how much time can I hold my particular stage of my product, should be determined before marketing of the product into the market. The risk assessments of changes in the process, equipment, storage conditions, starting or packaging material should include an assessment of whether further hold time study should be performed. So whenever the changes occur in the process or equipment or any kind of storage conditions, whether it could be starting material or packing material. So this all aspects should be assessed so that we can uh, give a justification that we have to go for whole time studies or not, or whole time study requirement is there, or it has to be performed or not. So to know all these cases, whenever there are changes in process, equipment, storage conditions, starting or packing material, we have to check whether that changes would impact our product or the quality of the product, and how much time it has to be studied. So all this have to be verified. Manufacturers may use a flowchart to review the manufacturing procedure for a product and then break up the critical stages of manufacturing process on the basis of time period required for the particular storage and processing stages, typical pauses in the manufacturing campaign, and the potential impact of storage with reference to environmental and storage conditions. So how a whole time study has to be conducted. So whoever the manufacturer is, the manufacturer has to go with the flow chart so that whatever the manufacturing procedure is being used has to be break down into particular categorized, so that we can see what are the critical steps that are involved, and what are the major important criteria that can happen, and what are the circumstances that may foreseen. So all this have to be categorized, or they have to be broken down into smaller parts so that we can easily assess the studies that are required for the whole time. So we have to check the time gap, and what is the storage condition, and what are the pauses in the manufacturing campaign. For example, whenever I am manufacturing a product, if there is an engagement in the dryer that I am using, then how much time I need to hold my product before loading it into the dryer, and at what type of storage condition, and at what type of area that I need to store, and how much time can I hold that material without going for drying. So all such type of situations or circumstances can be reviewed with the flow chart. This has to be carried out by the manufacturer so that it will be helpful that at what cases can I go for the whole time study, and based upon the type of results and based upon the type of test parameters that are being carried out, we can justify how much time period can I hold my material before drying. That means before drying my material would be wet. So there could be some circumstances where there would be the microbial growth, or there could be any kind of situations that where my therapeutic activity of my API or the drug product would be not shown, or it would go down. So all this will be assessed during the manufacturing of the product, and how much time my product has to be hold. Flowchart for reviewing the manufacturing procedure for oral coated tablets. So this is one of the typical example we can see and we can understand. So here the material or the raw material is being dispensed, and it is being shifted, and then it undergoes dry mixing. After that, we can see that granulation is one of the particular critical manufacturing step, and then again after granulation again it is being dried, and after drying again it is being lubricated and blending, and then again compression, and then again comes the coating, and then again comes the packing. So if you can see, here are some of the steps where there would be a time gap, or there are different kinds of critical steps that are being carried out. So whenever we can see such a type of time where there would be pause in the manufacturing process, or where there are critical steps that are involved, we can need to check how can we justify and how for justify the whole time study for that. So here if we can see that granulation, so after here during the granulation we can see how much time can I withhold my granules before sending them to drying. So for that, here we can take some of the samples and we can analyze whether my product is meeting the acceptance criteria or not before taking it into the drying process. So after drying also we can check, we have to check so whether the granules are within the specification limit, and what is the time gap, or how much time can I hold my material before going into the steps of lubrication and blending. So this is also one of the critical processing step. That is, the flow of manufacturing is divided into different critical parts. So lubrication and blending, here also we can say after lubrication and blending how much time can I wait for compression. So after compression how much time can I wait for coating. So at this coating we can check, we can withdraw samples and what is the coating solution that is being, and what is the coating tablets. So all this and how much time this coated material can be weighted, and then it can be packed. So this is how we can see. So one step to another step, from drying to lubrication and blending, how much time can I wait, and blending to compression and compression to coating. So this all depends upon the type of the condition and what are the type of the critical things that are being carried out during the processing or the manufacturing of the product. So all those should have to be considered to establish the whole time study of a particular product. During the manufacturing of the API, these are some of the critical areas where the material is being held and that can be used into the further stage. So during the reaction mass preparation and maintenance in the reactor. So how much time can I hold the particular product in the reactor for moving it forward into the another reactor or another stage. So whenever my material is being centrifuged, like centrifugation of the material to remove the mother liquors. So during this stage, whenever during the centrifugation my material, wet material will be there, and whenever my drying, after completion of the centrifugation, whenever I have to go for the drying, whenever the dryer is engaged, then how much time or how much time gap should I wait to load the material into the my wet material into the dryer. So this is also called as how much time can I hold my wet material. So wet material holding time and drying operations. So after completion of the drying process and after completion of the particular stage, and what is the time gap that I can use for using my particular X product into the manufacturing of the Y product. So these are some of the cases where the whole time study can be included and it has to be established. So what are the types and how many batches that has to be used to determine the whole time study? Typically, one or more batches of a material, intermediate, or product can be used for determining hold times. So, majorly one or more batches has to be kept for study. A risk-based approach can be used to determine the appropriate number of the batches, study times, and tests that may be considered based on the risk assessment and specific product needs. So, depends upon the type of the product and the nature of the product, the test has what are the types of the test that has to be carried and how much time my material has to be kept on hold. So all this can be assessed based upon a risk based approach, and during those risk based approach itself we can establish how many number of batches that has to be kept upon the whole time study. So we can go through annexure 4 of World Health Organization, where you can get more knowledge about whole time studies and how it has to be conducted and how it has to be carried out. I hope you have got some knowledge about whole time study through this discussion. Thanks for watching and learning. Hope this has been helpful to you. Thanks.